Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Mrs. G. In this video, we are going to be looking at how exactly we should attack the essay question that we are going to be given. So you are going to end up with 2 essay questions on your social studies exam. You are going to be doing an essay in section B, part 2. And you are going to be given an essay in section C as an option. So your essay in section B part 2 is going to be on regional integration, and then your essay in section C, you are going to choose which one of the topics you would do. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you exactly how to break down an essay question when you get it and how to come up with your responses. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how to come up with your responses for the essay question, any essay question at all that is given to you. So the thing about the social studies questions is that they tell you exactly what they want to be in the essay. So you do not have to guess about it. It clearly indicates exactly what it is that should be included in the essay. So your job now is to break it apart. So this is what they give you. Your job is to break it apart, look for exactly what is wanted, and then you answer those things specifically to come up with your full 20 marks. All right, so we're going to do that right now. So to begin, the question says, write your essay on the above topic, Caribbean tourism, the need to invest. In your essay, state the 2 types of tourism that generate foreign exchange for Caribbean countries. So that's the first thing they want us to do. So let us just break it down. So we're going to call the first thing A. They ask you to state, and remember our discussion about verbs, the verbs that they actually place in the questions, that is telling you exactly what it is that they want you to do. So state the 2 types of tourism that generate foreign exchange in Caribbean countries. So that would have been your first question. And they are asking you to state 2 of them. So if I am marking this paper, then it would have been 2 marks. So we're going to add up the marks after to see what we come up with. So this one here, state the 2 types of tourism that generate foreign exchange. So that would have been your first part of your essay. The second part now, it says, apart from foreign exchange, state 2 other ways that Caribbean countries benefit from tourism. So we're going to call that part B. It is asking you to state 2 ways that Caribbean countries benefit from tourism. So I'm going to say benefit from tourism. So they asked you to state again, so that is another 2 marks for that section. So let us just remove that, state 2 other ways, so we're not including foreign exchange, that Caribbean countries benefit from tourism. So then we move on. The next task that they give us is to explain 2 challenges that new tourists, they have this in bold here, that new tourist destinations may cause for hoteliers within the Caribbean. So that would have been option C. Explain 2 challenges. So this would have been your next question. So since I'm not writing that one out, I'll just underline it underneath so it is still visible. So that would have been letter C. They're asking you to explain. That's the verb here. So you are required to do more than actually just state your responses. You need to go into detail. So since they ask you to explain and they ask you to explain 2 challenges, we can allot that, let us say 4 marks, right? So far we would have gotten 4 and 2, 2. So far we have 8 marks out of the total 20 marks that is allotted to the question. So the next thing that we are asked to do, Does this look familiar to you? Suggest giving full details, 3 strategies or 3 actions. I hope it looks familiar because you would realize, if you are looking at past papers, you would realize that this setup or this structure for the question is at the end of every single question that they ask before. So in section A, you will realize that the last option in question 1, 2, and 3, they ask you to suggest giving full details. That is how they are going to really assess your ability to apply the information that you have learned in class, and that is how they're going to assess your problem solving skills, etc. So, suggest giving full details, 3 actions a government may take to encourage persons to invest in the industry. So that is your next option there. Suggest giving full details, 3 actions a government may take to encourage persons to invest in the tourist industry. So just like the questions before, we would allot this D and we can call it 1 because we know there's a little part 2 coming. Suggest giving full details. And just like the other questions, we will allot the same marks to it. So that would have been 6 marks. So for that 6 marks, the breakdown of the 6 marks, you would have done 3 actions. So for each action, it would have been 2 marks each. So I'm going to put 2 marks each. Those are for the 3 actions that you are asked to give. And then for the second part of what we are calling letter D now, it says explain fully why each action you have suggested is likely to be successful. So all of this bottom section here, all of this area, we see that on all of the questions. That is how they assess your ability to actually use the information that you learned in class. So you can expect that. You can start coming up with your responses for that because it is something that you are going to be seeing on your paper. So part 2, you are explaining fully why each action will work, or what we have seen it called on the papers, it is called justification. So for that justification, you're explaining why each is likely to work. So you're doing 3 explanations there. So that will give you another 6 marks. Also 2 marks for each explanation. So that would have been the end of what you are required to do. So when we check this up now, in total, we have 6 plus 6, that is 12. 12 plus 4, that is 16. 17, 18, 19, 20. So we would have had our full 20 marks for our essay. So looking at it this way, it is just like one of the other questions that you would have done in the earlier part of the paper. It is just that they are asking you to write it in an essay format. So the only thing that you're changing is the fact that you're not separating your responses anymore. So I know that a lot of persons, once you see the word essay, you get a little scared because you are expecting that, oh my God, I'm going to have to do so much. I'm going to have to write so many things, etc. Right? But the great thing about this is that they tell you exactly what they want you to put in it. And that is how you get your marks. So the only other thing you need to do outside of following what they ask you to do and answering each part is that you are just setting it up in an essay format. So let us talk about how the essay format itself works now. So for an essay, definitely you are going to need an introduction. Now, number 1, we don't have time for a lot of fluff that is not going to be adding to our marks because we already see where all of the marks is coming from. So we know we need an introduction. We know that we are going to need our paragraphs that is going to make up the body of our essay. And then we need a small conclusion or a concluding line, because we don't have to have that. As I said, you already know where your marks is coming from, and you are setting it up so that you get your marks. That is the aim of completing the question in the first place, right? Okay, so for our introduction, you are going to introduce exactly what you are talking about. So you are asked to speak specifically about Caribbean tourism, the need to invest. That's what they said. Write an essay on the topic above topic here. So Caribbean tourism, the need to invest. So you need an introductory sentence or a topic sentence that is going to highlight what it is that you're going to be talking about. If you notice through the questions that have been asked or the tasks that you have been given in this section, they all link specifically to the topic that is there, the need to invest, right? So you can say something like, tourism is important to the Caribbean. However, there are several areas that can take improvement. Or you can say Caribbean tourism has several undeveloped areas that would require investment for it to become profitable. Something like that. So you are just basically mentioning the topic that they have given you, and you are introducing what you're going to talk about. So once you introduce what you are going to talk about, now remember, you can apply this to any one of the essays that you are going to be doing. It doesn't have to be tourism. It doesn't have to be section C. It can also be for your regional integration essay. You are just going to break it apart just the same. Then you are going to incorporate the topic sentence the topic that they gave you into your topic sentence or into the introductory sentence that you're going to create. And then you're going to use that to go into the actual task, individual task that they have given you. So now that we have our topic sentence, we don't have much space, but let us say my topic sentence is that tourism in the Caribbean has, let me say, tremendous potential. I'm just going in my head here, right? So tourism in the Caribbean has tremendous potential. However, investment is needed to reap many of its benefits. To reap many of its benefits. And then we could go into the first section. So it says, state two types of tourism that generate foreign exchange for Caribbean countries. So we can go ahead and say two types of tourism. So we're just going right into the question. Two types of tourism. And we're answering it in a sentence. So we're just putting the essay together with what they ask us to do. So two types of tourism. What did they say again? That generate foreign exchange. Exchange in the Caribbean are, and then we would write in our answers. So again, it doesn't have to be the tourism essay alone that you do this with. You are doing it with any one of the other essays. So this video is not about giving you the answers specifically for this particular question. It is more about assisting you in developing the actual essay, right? So that is why I'm leaving them blank here. But I'll just try to kill two birds with one stone. So generating foreign exchange in the Caribbean, we can say our land-based tourism and let me put, and we can also say health tourism. So it doesn't have to be these two that you put either. It can be land-based tourism, ecotourism, sports tourism. So we can just choose, right? So two types of tourism that generate foreign exchange in the Caribbean are land-based tourism and health tourism. So we would have answered the first task that they had given us here, that is letter A. Then we have letter B. State two ways. I don't remember the question, I didn't write it out. State two other ways the Caribbean countries benefit from tourism. So we have already identified the fact that the tourism product in the Caribbean provides financial benefits through foreign exchange. So we are now going to mention or state two other ways that Caribbean countries benefit from tourism. So we're not going to just jump in and say two other ways that Caribbean countries benefit from tourism is, remember, it's an essay. So the only thing that you are doing in between the task that they give you are using sentences to simply connect from one task to the next, because you want it to be that when your essay is read, it flows and it sounds like you have constructed it well. But at the same time, you want to ensure that you answer the specific task that they ask you to cover, right? So far we have tourism in the Caribbean has tremendous potential. However, investment is needed to reap many of its benefits. Two types of tourism that generate foreign exchange in the Caribbean. You know, we could have put something up here about foreign exchange. We could say one of the benefits is foreign exchange. We could put it right here. Two types of tourism that generate foreign exchange in the Caribbean are land-based tourism and health tourism. The next question asked us to talk about two other benefits. So we can say outside of foreign exchange, tourism in the Caribbean also provides, and then you write out the other benefits that it provides. So I'm going to just try to jot it down. Outside of foreign exchange, because that is exactly what the question says, tourism in the Caribbean outside of foreign exchange, tourism in the Caribbean provides jobs both directly and indirectly. Both directly and indirectly. We can say through linkages because we know what we're talking about, and we're trying to also show them that we know what we're talking about, right? Because we want to get full marks. So that would have been one of what they ask us to do. They ask us to state two benefits outside of foreign exchange. So we have given one is that it creates jobs. And we can also say it also allows the development of infrastructure in Caribbean countries. The writing is a little off. Yeah. All right, so we have tourism in the Caribbean has tremendous potential. However, investment is needed to reap many of its benefits. And we said we would have included something there that tourism provides foreign exchange. Two types of tourism that generate foreign exchange in the Caribbean are land-based tourism and health tourism. Outside of foreign exchange, tourism in the Caribbean provides jobs. So I'll underline that too, because that is a part of what they asked us to answer. Provides jobs both directly and indirectly through linkages. It also allows the development of infrastructure in Caribbean countries. So far, we would have done letter A and we would have done letter B. So the next thing that they ask you for would have been letter C, which is to explain 2 challenges that new tourist destinations may cause for hoteliers within the Caribbean. So we would have used that section there as our introductory paragraph because we're just talking about it. We're introducing the topic. We're telling what tourism does and what the benefits are. So we would have had our introductory paragraph right there. So now we are going to look at the second part that they ask us to do. So this would have given us now a second paragraph. So we would go into explaining these 2 challenges. So now they ask us to explain. So of course, it requires you to go a little more in depth than actually stating. So that is why in our breakdown, we allotted it 4 marks, right? So explain 2 challenges that new tourist destinations. Now you have to pay attention to the questions that they actually ask you. So this one, it says 2 challenges that new tourist destinations, meaning other places that are now offering tourism as a product, other countries, not your own country, not the Caribbean itself. So we can say countries like Mexico, for example, that may have the same sun, sea, and sand that we offer. As a result, they may be like a competitor or something like that. So they are asking you 2 challenges that these new tourist destinations may cause or may create for the hoteliers, that is the people in the Caribbean who owns these hotels. So let me say that again. You are going to explain 2 challenges that new tourist destinations, so other places that are popping up and offering tourism as a product, 2 challenges that those places would cause for the people in the Caribbean who own hotels, the hoteliers within the Caribbean. So with that, now we have to look at it from their perspective. How exactly will these hoteliers have challenges? What kind of challenges exactly will they be facing? So number 1, we can say, I'm trying to create some space here. So this is a new paragraph here. We can say that the new destinations may offer a more attractive product. They may offer something else that the Caribbean countries do not have. So as a result of that, visitors now may prefer to go to those other places. And when the visitors go to those other places, it means then that it would reduce the number of visitors that actually come to the Caribbean. So we would get a reduction in the number of visitors. So to write it, we can say hoteliers in the Caribbean may be challenged by Caribbean may experience challenges resulting from new tourist destinations. New, not capital letter there, new tourist destinations. And then they ask us to explain 2. So we are just going to go right into it. So that sentence there is just one of those sentences that I'm talking about that really just assists your essay. It just helps your essay to flow, and it lets you go right into your other answer that they're asking you for. So hoteliers in the Caribbean may experience challenges resulting from new tourist destinations. One challenge could be a reduction in the number of tourists visiting the Caribbean. Reduction in the number of tourists visiting the Caribbean. With new destinations, so kind of what we just said before, with new destinations, people may become more attracted to them, or they may offer a product that the Caribbean country does not have, so persons will just go there. So this is our explanation part. So they ask us to explain a challenge. So we have identified the challenge, and then we are explaining it now. So with new destinations, tourists may be attracted to their product and choose to visit those countries instead. Right. So that would explain why we would have a reduction in the number of tourists visiting the Caribbean. So I've opened up a page so that we can have space to write the rest of the essay. So we are at the second challenge. So we can continue by saying the Caribbean countries, they may need additional funds or extra money in order to develop their tourism product or market their tourism product or rebuild their tourism product in an effort to compete with these new destinations. This would require additional spending, which these Caribbean countries would not have and would put them in further debt. So that would have been our second challenge, and we would have just explained that. So that would have covered the explanation as well of the two challenges. So the other section that we would have now would have been the part that is asking us to suggest giving full details, 3 actions the government may take, and then we are going to explain each of those actions. Basically, we're given a justification as to why that action is likely to work. So you can choose to do this paragraph by paragraph, where you use one paragraph to do all of it. You can choose to do one paragraph to do all of the actions, and then another paragraph to do all of the justification. To keep on track though, for me, I would prefer if my students do action and then justification at the same time. So it ties into each other. It is easier for you to just write it straight away that particular way. So for example, we're going to go back to our paper. Let us just look back at the question again. It says 3 actions a government may take to encourage persons to invest in the tourist industry. So far we would have had or introductory, let me call it our introduction, then that would have taken in 2 parts of what they're asking us to do. Then we would have had our second paragraph that would give us the explanation of the 2 challenges. Then now we would be moving into our third paragraph, where we would talk about the action that the government may take, as well as justifying that action or stating exactly why that action is likely to work. So that is going to be our third paragraph. So to start that paragraph off, we can say the government, let me just shorten that, the government can take actions. So this is our other sentence that is just allowing us to let the essay flow. The government can take actions to attract investors to the Caribbean in the tourist industry. And then we can start by stating our first action. So we can say one action the government can take to do this, because we already tell them what it is that we're doing. One action the government can take to do this is, and then we just list out exactly what it is that the government can do. I'll just do one. So the government can, let me say they because we mentioned government already. One action they can take to do this is to maintain a stable political climate. Maintain a stable political climate. So whatever your question is that you're doing, you are simply using sentences to attach the parts of the essay together to allow the essay to flow. So, and then you would answer each question and then you attach the next part to it. That is all you're doing throughout your essay. So one action they can take to do this is to maintain a stable political climate and govern by the law so investors will become more interested in the country. And we know how this is. If your country is unstable, if there is war or violence or things like that, investors are not likely to put their money there because they would have been worried about what the returns is like. So now we would have answered the second part of that question. So what we have done there, we have stated the action. So now we're going to justify the action. So it said that we would explain fully why each action you have suggested is likely to be successful. So right here after this action, we can just go right into saying why we believe that this action will be successful. So we have said the action, so now we can just say this is likely to be successful because, and then we just continue explaining. Likely to be successful because. So we can just use for the persons who are watching this for the answers, we can just use the answer that I just gave a while ago, where investors are going to be more comfortable. They will be more interested in investing in a country that has a stable, safe political climate. They will feel safe where their investment is concerned. So we could just explain that this is likely to be successful because investors will, and then we would just continue all of that here, right? And then for the other action, we can say another action that the government can take is, and then we list out our other action there as well, and then we say this is likely to work because, likely to be successful because, and then we would list out our justification there. And then now, so you would have done one action here, another action here. They asked you for 3 actions. Then you would just go into your third action here. So you would just jump into the third action right here. So your third action, and then you do your this will work because, which is your other justification, and then you write out exactly why it would work. So for that, you would have covered 1, 2, 3 actions, and you would have also done your 3 justifications. So this is likely to be successful, that's the first one. This is likely to be successful because, that's the second one. This will work because, that's the third one. So that would have given you your 12 marks once you answer the questions correctly, of course. And then what you are going to do next you would simply end your essay by including or adding a concluding sentence. You don't have to add an entire paragraph. You can just add a concluding sentence relating to the topic that they had given you. So the topic was Caribbean tourism, the need to invest. So you can say something like, the government of Caribbean countries, or it would be beneficial for the government of Caribbean countries to utilize this method of having investors more interested in the Caribbean. That way, we will be something, 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 or more, we can get more benefits from the tourism products that we offer, and your essay would be finished, right? So let us just, I know that's a lot of talking, so let me just run through again. When you get your essay, number one, you would look at the topic that they give you. Then you are going to break your essay apart. Breaking your essay apart means picking out exactly what it is that they ask you to cover. So you are breaking it down task by task. You may not have the time to write out the task like I did here, so you can just circle them and then you do it piece by piece by piece. Your intention is to ensure that you answer specifically what they ask you to answer. It is just like a question 1 or 2 or 3 where they give you the question in part by part by part. Don't be daunted by the fact that they said it is an essay. No. In order to make it into an essay, all you're doing is adding these part together. To add these part together, you just need an introduction or an introductory sentence, which would come from the topic that they give you. Then you are going to use sentences in between that will just allow your parts of the task to flow into each other. That is all you're going to be doing. And then once you have answered all of the questions that they would have given you inside the essay, then you would end with a concluding sentence just to show that you are finished. That is it. All right, so I really hope that this helps for you relating to how to break down your essay, how to answer your essay questions, and don't be daunted by the essay. It is just one question that is broken up in parts and you're writing all of it together. That is all that it is. So I hope this video helped you. If it did, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I would appreciate that. If you have any questions, ask your questions in the comments below as well. I respond to them. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Check out the social studies playlist that is there with several videos and past papers and other explanations that would assist you in the preparation for your exams. Feel free to reach out to me with the questions that you may have or any queries. I am very happy to assist you. Thank you very much for watching.